These are new-ish, like since 2020, 2021-ish. When I went away in 2018, I don't recall, or maybe they were up in 2017, 18. But it's a big deal to sort of like have a little bit more. We got lots of bird food over here. So feeding the birds. And anyway, so I remember in 2018 they were working on the mall down here, the new Fashion District Mall, so it was closed. I recall we had a freezing cold winter. There's a whole situation where I wound up out of my apartment through no fault of my own, and it's hard to explain something like that. But I was stuck in a really bizarre, sick clown show of a situation, technically that began in 2011, if not prior, but in 2011 my world was turned upside down. My life changed on a dime, and I was sort of stuck in dog walking, being, in a way, trafficked. Someone had the argument of human trafficking. And they're like, technically they kept you trapped in there. You know, like I tried to get jobs outside, like normal jobs. I wound up doing dog walking as a temporary fix. I actually had high hopes of moving to the Pacific Northwest. I even signed up for a half marathon because I was running at the time, called Run Like Hell in Portland, Oregon. That all played into my situation. Run like hell, you know, and I was trying to run away from what was going on here. Anyway, but in at the end of 2017, someone sort of, if you were to have like an angel or a handler come in and say, you will no longer be showing up to these dog walks. Do you hear me? These people are idiots. You won't even give them the courtesy of 2 weeks notice, which I would normally give courtesy to people. I'm just a professional person, so, but I was told under no uncertain terms to drop them cold. I'm like, I gotta pay rent, like what am I gonna do? You know. So it's a whole thing. I almost feel like I was sort of like pulled off the grid to see how many people were playing a very sick game at my expense. That's a good example. Her holding her nose, that's a good example of what was going on in my case. So anyway, then I had to like make it down to Florida. It's a whole like horror story. I'm told that the handler wanted to see how far people would go. Would they make me homeless? Would they do this? Would they do that? And sadly, Philadelphia turned out to be very sick in their treatment of me. Engine 20. That's Chinatown Dragons, House of Dragons. We just got the name Dragon earlier. It has to do with the designer's name. So we were Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. That's how we linked that up. So anyway, so Chinatown is just down there. You can almost see the arch. I don't know how well you can see it with this viewfinder, but there you go. So Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. That's what. Anyway, so I wound up in Florida for 2.5 years. I kept trying to find work there. I had like 8 different jobs, substitute teaching for public and private schools. Trust me, go private. Enough said, you know. I'm not kidding how bad it is out there. So, but again, you know, there's not always enough work, and they might only have so many in a pool of substitutes to call on. So if they have a filled up pool, by the way, there was a Starbucks here and it closed. I'm kind of curious why. There is a Starbucks in the mall, which goes underground, which is to the left here. And it's near the regional rail and all that stuff, station. So anyway, I had to work for Starbucks for a very short, like I kind of did an 8-month stint just to sort of have money coming in, because you needed, like I had to use my mom's car, I had to pay for gas and all that stuff, and they were the first people to sort of like hire me. I took whatever I could get at first. I taught a class at the community college, Santa Fe Community College, and this was a lifelong learner, like non-credit type class. So if you have the expertise or the accreditation, you could teach a class. Anyone can do it. Doesn't mean you have to have, like, you could be an expert at, say, missing children. You don't have to have a degree in it. You might, maybe you've talked about this topic for years on end and wrote like a self-published book or whatever. That might be enough to teach an interesting class to people who would sign up in your community. The guy who was teaching next door to me, he was teaching sort of like ghost phenomenal things, or like stuff in that realm. So it's not like he got a degree in metaphysical or paranormal things. He just, you know, studied and talked about it for years on his own, and over time wound up with enough credentials to call himself an expert. See what I mean? So I don't think he actually went to school for it, you know what I mean? Anyway. So we wanted to take a little trip down Market Street to catch the lights. I was going to go to the Christmas Village, but if the rain keeps up, then I won't go to the Christmas Village later, so this is the next best thing. So we will see you on the flip side.